Hey, doggone it, what's happening? How's it going? Man, glad to be here as usual. Glad to be here as usual. And as usual, crazy, 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 crazy. Some crazy shit going down. Tell you what, uh, right off the bat, right off the bat, what happened in Texas last night? Right off the bat, crazy shit went down in Texas, and we knew it. We knew it. So, Jasmine Crockett didn't win. And you know, we kind of talked about that, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. And we still got an ongoing war. I'll get into that in a second. And we also got an update with that. Apparently, we have we have used a submarine to torpedo an Iranian war vessel. So that's something new. That's something that has not happened since World War II. We have not used a submarine to sink a war vessel since World War II until today or yesterday. I forgot what day it was. What's up, James? Man, how's it going? Everything good? Hey, what's going on, Charles? What's happening? Just sitting here tripping off of the things that was going down. Oh, hey, Elise, how you doing? Was just sitting here talking about what the stuff going down. If you're just joining, Jasmine Crockett lost her bid for the Senate candidacy in Texas, and we sank an Iranian war vessel with a submarine launching a torpedo. That's something that has not happened since World War II. I was just saying, since World War II, we have not used a submarine on another country's military warships. Two interesting updates. That's two interesting things that occurred the same day. Okay? Two things that occurred the same day. What y'all thoughts on Jasmine Crockett? Let's just get into, well, let's hold off. Let's have some social media first. I typically want to have a little laugh before I get any, because if I start thinking about this stuff, a lot of times when I think about this shit, I get stock raving mad, you know. So let's have a little social media first. Let's check out old boy right quick. Check this out.
What's that?
My blood pressure and my hunger level. But I only got a minute. I got to be at court this morning. Bro, you really gonna have to do better. It's getting to the point I can't stand coming to this month. I mean, you eat up everything you and I bring in your crib.
Huh?
If you can hunt, you can hear. You don't think I like Black Forest ham? You don't think I love pancakes with real maple syrup? Not that watery stuff you get. I buy that because that's what I like to eat. Not that garbage food you be buying. I mean, would it really hurt you to buy a bag of jasmine rice?
You the one that be leaving notes all around my house. I thought that was one of my people's being funny. Dude, have you lost your rabbit ass mind? Why would you come in my crib and who let you in?
Oh, I'm Smoke Dog. I do all the robbing and stealing around here. And Stanley invited me in.
Who is Stanley?
Stanley. Greedy meet Stanley. Stanley meet Greedy.
Man, that's my screwdriver.
This ain't yours. I tried them garbage tools you got. And them screwdrivers bent like a Dallas rapper. Bro, I'm not even trying to go here with you this morning. Just trying to keep the peace in our house. All you gotta do is stop buying them soy sauce noodles and then eating all my chicken ones. Stop buying banquet dinners and eating all my hungry mans. I steal those for me. Now, if you want me to grab you a few things, just leave a few dollars next to the refrigerator or probably next to the toilet. I will definitely find them.
This is a prank. This is definitely a prank. I'm finna call the police.
You see now, Mr. Snitchy? Now you gets nothing.
I tell you what, I think we all met that dude in the hood. I think every neighborhood got one of them cats, huh? Jasmine Crockett is young. She's got plenty of chance to do things she can win. Keep trying. Yep. Hey, Charles, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%, Charles. Check this out. I don't know if any of you recall any of my conversations about Jasmine Crockett, but as I pointed out a time ago, when Jasmine Crockett entered this race, it was my opinion that she shouldn't have entered that particular race. That was my opinion. And the reason I had that opinion was because of James Tallarico and I can't think of his name. Doggone it! There's so many names in politics that I just lose. The names, Jack. It's just too many names for me. Colin Allred. Colin Allred. Hey, Carmen, how you doing? Colin Allred and James Tallarico, they were already in a bit of a heated match. Okay, that was panning out to be an interesting match, and I felt like yeah, it hurt me too because I am a Jasmine Crockett fan. Okay, let's get this straight. I am a Jasmine Crockett fan. I feel like she shouldn't have entered this particular race because it put her against and Colin Allred. He sat out when she got in. When she got in, he bowed out. That's cool. But James Tallarico was a very good candidate going in. And I kept telling people that I know, you have to remember a couple of things. One, this is Texas. Okay? Understand something. This is Texas. This the kind of shit going in Texas.
Place where I live is far away, and I just wanted to vote here and get back to work, and she told me she wouldn't let me. I was hoping she would just let me go in. She said I'm at the wrong place. I can't vote here.
I've always voted here, say, 8 years in a row now. I've come to this location, but now they're telling me that I need to go to another location to vote.
Did they explain why?
No, they didn't explain why. And then when I went online yesterday, because I knew they were going to try to do this, I went yesterday online to register and everything like that to find out where my poll is, and it got me nowhere.
Mi traje dominguero, muy bien almidonado. Pues no.
That's the kind of shit going on in Texas, okay? That's the kind of shit going on in Texas. Remember, this is Texas. Jasmine Crockett was a representative in the House of Representatives. Texas, thanks to Donald Trump called them and told them, hey, we need you to steal 5 representative seats for the House of Representatives in November. And Texas stole 5 seats for Donald Trump. They redrew the district maps, and they drew Jasmine Crockett's district away. This is Texas. Now, Jasmine Crockett won handily in her district. But to win a Senate race, you have to win across the state. This is Texas. This is racist Texas. This is woman-hating Texas. This is racist black woman-hating Texas. Okay? This is all kind of shenanigans pulling ass Texas. In her district yesterday, people didn't know where they were supposed to vote because the Attorney General and the Secretary of State didn't change the website after they updated the laws in Texas. They left the old information on the website on purpose. So when you went to the website, okay, and so many people go last minute and try to vote, by the time you got to where you were supposed to vote, they turned you around at the door. You at the wrong place. Now, you can't get to the right place in time. So what happened? What happened after that? They went to a judge and said, hey, judge, look, it's a lot of confusion going on because of the state's website and the county website. And the reason the judge stepped in, he said, yeah, too much confusion. Let's extend the hours. Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, who has been accused of so many things, had so many legal issues. Hey, Vanessa, how you doing? Had so many issues. He went to the Supreme Court in Texas to fight the ballots that was cast after hours, after one judge had allowed voting to go on a couple of hours later. And the Supreme Court in Texas stopped the ballot counting after hours. That's what goes on in Texas. That's why I felt bad when Jasmine Crockett got into the race in the first place. The other thing that happened, I don't know if any of you paid this any attention. I talked about it. James Tallarico was scheduled to go on The Tonight Show. Donald Trump's FCC guy got in touch with Barry Weiss, who runs CBS, and told her not to let James Tallarico go on the show. Stephen Colbert took that interview, because they taped the interview, took that interview and put it on YouTube and told everybody, hey, Donald Trump is trying to interfere with James Tallarico getting airtime on a network. Y'all might remember this. That blew up. That instantly gave James Tallarico nationwide coverage. That made his name fly sky high. And millions of people watched the interview on YouTube. And I knew right then. That was a torpedo to Jasmine Crockett. And I wouldn't doubt if Trump did that on purpose, and his minion did that on purpose to interfere with Jasmine Crockett's campaign in Texas. And I just knew it. I talked about it when she got in the race. I was like, this is not a good idea. I just didn't think it was a good idea because they were going to torpedo her campaign in Texas. I had a clip. I don't have it. I'll try and play it Monday to make a point. In Texas, it's almost 100% that if given the choice of voting for somebody, they're going to vote white and they're going to vote male. That's just the way Texas is. Now, Jasmine is popular in her district, but this was a statewide race. And that was the issue. Okay. So it's James Tallarico, and he's going to be going up against one of the runoff candidates because the Republicans were so lousy at being candidates that neither one of them won outright. You have to have 50% plus one, and neither one of them got near that. So it's John Cornyn against Ken Paxton. Wesley Hunt, who is the jackass that I showed a week ago, talking about Trump ain't a racist because Trump invited him and his wife everywhere in the world. So that told him Trump is not a racist. Yeah, that Wesley Hunt also was running for a Senate spot against John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. And like I said, they're all such lousy candidates, none of them won, so they have to have a runoff in May. I hate that for Jasmine Crockett. And like Charles say, she going to have plenty of chances to do some stuff down the line. I know this, feel that in my heart. But I don't think this was the race for her. I knew it was going to be too many shenanigans. It's Texas. So the other thing, they got a good candidate in North Carolina. Roy Cooper won in North Carolina. So that's a good Democratic chance of getting a senator in North Carolina. So, hey, they've got some chances. Tallarico is a strong candidate, and they like him across Texas. So, got a chance to flip in Texas. All right, now, one other thing. Y'all need to tell y'all sons and daughters, if y'all got, what do they call them? If you have urns around the house with the ashes of loved ones in them, this is a public service announcement right here. This is a public service announcement. I like to do public service announcements. If you have a urn around the house somewhere, and you feel like somebody don't know that it's an urn, Make sure everybody know it's an urn, okay? Check this out.
What?
That chicken was good in there, right? That mean?
Yeah. Oh, that was definitely some different kind of chicken there, bro. That was good. I loved it. It was extra crunchy too.
I'm saying, I used that seasoning in the window in that pink can.
What season in the window of the pink can? Pink can? Kayla, please tell me that you lying, bitch. That ain't no seasoning. That's your grandfather's ashes, you asshole. Motherfucking well, you ain't just feed me my father, bitch.
Why was that's not no in that pink can?
What, bitch? Did you just feed me my daddy? I'ma die.
No, Ma.
That's bad for me, bitch. You fed me my daddy.
Oh my God, that's Grandpa.
Oh
Ma, I didn't know that was Grandpa. I promise I didn't know that was Grandpa.
I gotta go to the doctor.
Ma, you okay? Relax. Wait.
Oh no, bitch! What the fuck do you mean relax? I just ate my daddy.
But why would you put him in the window? I didn't know he was.
The fuck you mean? Why would I sit him in the window, bitch? He been happily sitting in that motherfucking window for decades. Bitch, I don't eat humans.
Are you crying right now?
Fucking fool. I just digested my daddy, you asshole.
Ma, I didn't mean. I'm sorry.
Get the fuck away from me and call me I am a lamb, because I need to go.
Oh, that kills me. That kills me. So, if you got an urn around someplace, make sure everybody know it's an urn, okay? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. That's crazy. Oh Lord. Hey, the internet never loses, okay? Just so y'all know, the internet never loses. All right. So, moving on to the war, okay? Moving on to the war. There's a question about whether this war is going to go anywhere else. And I'm wondering that myself. You know, how far is this war going to go? There's a theory that this war is going to escalate. There's a theory that this war will escalate. Absolutely. And there's several reasons for that. I'm curious what y'all think about this war. What do you, based on what we've heard today, like today we've heard that they sank a ship, killed almost 100 people on a ship using a submarine and torpedoing the ship. Based on what you've all been seeing, do you think that this is going to spread out in the Middle East, or is it going to stay right there in Iran? Are there going to be U.S. soldiers on the ground? Do you think this is going to turn into U.S. soldiers on the ground? Do you think that? Let me know what you think. Because there's one thing a lot of people haven't paid attention to, and that is, I don't recall there ever being a war that was won just from people dropping bombs. Do you recall any war that's ever been put on where all they did was drop bombs and the war was over? Trump said he's going to put boots on the ground. Oh, did he? I didn't hear that. He said he's going to put boots on the ground. I tell you what, if he does that, I think that'll be a done deal for him. I think MAGA's already pissed about that dude. MAGA is already mad about that guy, and this boots on the ground thing. I can't see him putting, sending troops over there. If he does that, he's done. If he does that, he is finished. Uh, that would be crazy. I want to play this video right quick. I kind of agree. This person right here, he knows wars, and he knows, the ins and outs of wars. I've had my opinions, and they kind of align with what he's got to say. Let's check it out.
I've studied every air campaign since World War I. This is my specialty. I spent 3 years teaching conventional targeting strategy for the U.S. Air Force. I've studied leadership decapitation in detail. I've modeled the bombing of Fordow, the regime change in Iran for 20 years. So this is something I know quite a bit about. And literally 10 days ago, I started on Substack, The Escalation Trap, because I worried exactly watching the Armada being built, we would fall into the escalation trap, and that's what's happened. We are now in the grip of the escalation trap, or the smart bomb trap, to be more precise, where the illusion of the 100% tactical success, which is real, it's the success of the bombs blowing up the targets is not false. It creates the illusion of control of escalation. And that is the smart bomb trap, and that is what has gripped us right now. And the problem is that once we drop those bombs and once we announce regime change is our goal, and we had no other tools trying to do this from the air, this has never worked in over 100 years. This is not like it works sometimes or rarely works. I'm choosing my words carefully. President Trump is up against the weight of history here. And it's the illusion of the smart bombs being near perfect in destroying their target. And the problem is when those bombs fall, they change politics in the target. They inject nationalism into the regime. They inject nationalism into the society. And they essentially fuse the regime and society against the air power attacker. And this is what you are seeing, because now society and the regime are taking more risky steps. And they do things that no one anticipated before. And that failure to anticipate the worst case, that has happened numerous times with smart bombs. That's just what happened in the last 36 hours.
Now, you remember what just happened in the last 36 hours. Iran started bombing other places. He should send his son Barron. You know what? I think that's a very valid point. He should send his son Barron. That is a very, very valid point. He's of age. He's the perfect age to go. I think there's no reason he shouldn't go. There's no reason he shouldn't go at all. I agree with that 100%, but we know how that's going to go. All right? We know how that's going to go. But there's a lot of theory out there, though, that this is going to be ugly. And we all know Trump wants something to be going on in November. We all know Trump wants some kind of problem to be going on. Remember when he was sitting there with Zelensky talking about, you're at war right now and you can't have an election. I guess since you're at war, you can't have an election. See, that's only valid, I think, if the country that you're sitting in is getting the shit bombed out of it. The United States has never had a problem having an election during wartime. When we was in over there in the Middle East with George W. Bush, he got elected a second time during a war, because the bombs wasn't raining over here. They was raining somewhere else. So not have an election because we're at war somewhere else, not going to really hold any water. Now, he might try that. He might try it, but it's not going to hold any water whatsoever. There's a Professor Professor Jiang Zhukin, I think his name is pronounced. You know, I cannot pronounce Chinese names either. He gonna get bone spurs in his feet. Hey, like father, like son, right? You know, has anybody seen Barron Trump? There's something wrong with that kid. There's something not right about that kid, okay? Y'all mark my words. He looks like the kind of kid that would have been sitting in the backyard pulling wings off of butterflies, you know? That it's when you look at him, something ain't wrapped right. He ain't wrapped too tight, I don't think. You know, something weird going on there. But I'd like to play Professor Jiang, uh, his opinion. Now, he predicted Trump was going to win the election, and he predicted Trump was going to go to war with Iran. He predicted that a couple years ago. So, you know, we'll see if his predictions are correct. Because he also predicted that the United States would actually lose that war. So let's hear his prediction. Let's hear his opinion.
You made three big predictions. One, that Trump would win. Two, that he would start a war with Iran. And three, that the U.S. would lose that war. Quite a stunning prediction. You know, do you stand by it?
The reality is that right now, it's a war of attrition between the United States and Iran. And the Iranians have been preparing 20 years for this conflict. And now they have a pretty good strategy of how to weaken and ultimately destroy the American empire. So what the Iranians are doing is they're waging war against the entire global economy. And so they are striking the GCC countries. They're going after the critical energy infrastructure. They blocked off the Strait of Hormuz. And eventually, they will go after the water desalination plants, which is the lifeblood of these nations because they don't have fresh water supply. The Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. And why this is important is that the Gulf states are really the linchpin of the American economy. So what they do is they sell petrodollars and then they recycle the petrodollars back into the American economy through the investments in the stock market. And right now, we know that the entire American economy is propped up by AI investments in data centers. And a lot of that comes from the Gulf states. So if the Gulf states are no longer able to sell oil, and they're no longer able to finance AI, this AI bubble in the United States, then this AI bubble will burst, and with it will burst as well the entire American economy, which is really a financial Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, sir, an Amazon data center was literally hit in the UAE. We also wanted to talk to you about munition. The United States is racing to accomplish Iran mission before munitions run out.
The United States military is not designed to fight a 21st century war. Remember, the military-industrial complex came to being after World War II, and it was designed to fight the Cold War. And the Cold War was really about muscle flexing, who was to first get the person on the moon. And so the entire American military strategy revolves around very sophisticated technology that costs a lot of money to build. And that's what the American air defense system is. And that's why we're seeing this asymmetry in this war, where you have these $1 million missiles trying to take out these $50,000 drones. And it's not sustainable in the long term. And so what we're seeing is really the puncturing of the aura of invincibility that sustained American hegemony for the past 20 years.
So, looking at it from that point of view, that explains why, like I was saying the other day, I've told people before this war started, and just as it did start, that Iran would probably launch drones against everybody in the area, because that's something you would not expect. Most people would think Israel launches a war into Iran, America launches a war into Iran, and Iran just fights back and tries to fight them. Well, you got the superpower that is America, and you got Israel that is just saber rattling all day, every day. And you got all of these massive high dollar technology items coming at you. The missiles that they're launching into Iran cost $1 million a piece. And you know, those Patriots and all of that shit, those THAAD missiles, those are $1 million a piece. And it just occurred to me also that Iran, when they're launching into the Iron Dome, they're probably launching some of the oldest stuff they've had for years. Imagine if they're launching tons of old stuff into Israel, and Israel is knocking it out of the sky with $1 million a piece rockets. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 of those rockets to hit one. Imagine if Iran, now this is just me talking, imagine if Iran is just launching old stuff to run Israel and the U.S. out of these expensive rockets. They've launched drones. Those drones are cheap as hell. Those drones cost $50,000. And they got thousands of them. And Trump keeps bragging that they knocked out the central control. They knocked out the headquarters. They chopped the head off the snake. Iran has already shown that they have a decentralized military. They got Revolutionary Guard all over Iran, and they all have their orders to do whatever. They don't rely on some central control somewhere. Now imagine if what this professor says comes true. Well, they start hitting the desalination plants. For those of you who don't know what a desalination plant is, it is a plant that takes takes seawater and turns it into fresh water. Those Gulf states around there, they have no fresh water. There's no fresh water in that area at all. If Iran starts taking out the desalination plants in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Bahrain, all over that area, they'll run out of fresh water. They won't have any water. And let's say in Dubai, that's the economic engine for that area. If Iran starts to destroy shit in that area, that'll bring the whole economic engine to a stop. I'm really wondering, because right now we've seen limited response from Iran. Now they've hit practically every military U.S. base over there. They've actually got a drone strike into every base over there. And I think they're just testing the defenses in the different countries, because each one of those countries has a form of U.S. defense system. And I think they're just testing to see how well it works, or to use up those high dollar rockets. Because trust me, you'll run out of money a lot faster throwing $1 million rockets at a $50,000 drone than they will run out of $50,000 drones. You know, that's cheap. And they've been building them for years. Remember, Russia had to ask Iran if they could supply some of those drones. That's the drones that Russia is using in Ukraine. And why didn't they get the Americans out of there before bombing? That's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million question. Who in the hell decided to start bombing every goddamn thing before you alerted the people to get out of town? You know what? If I was an American over there and this happened, I would be so pissed. I would be so pissed. You mean to tell me you're gonna start the war and not tell the people to leave? You know. You started the war and just left the people there at the hotels. You sitting in your high-rise hotel and a drone come by and hit the apartment building next to you. How crazy is that? I would be so pissed. If it were me, I would be so pissed that you wouldn't believe it. I'd be so pissed. I mean, and one of the first strikes was at the Dubai airport. So they know they can hit that airport. So that was one of the first strikes Iran made. So they know they can hit the airports over there. The airports are vulnerable as hell. I think they already hit 2 of Israel's airports, I believe. So you think dementia is taking over? Yeah, you know what? I could go with that. Yeah, I could go with that. Yeah, Trump might have dementia pretty bad. He might have it pretty bad. There's a good case to be made for that. I don't know. The other part to that is, I think he doesn't, and that may be a part of dementia. I think reality's gone completely from the dude, because when he's talking, you know, nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. He's lying. He's lying on the fly so much. And when you lie on the fly, it starts to be just jumbled, to the point where even Marco Rubio the other day, Marco Rubio had to go back on what he said the day before. And we'll play that Monday. I'll play that Monday. Marco Rubio literally had to tell the reporters that what they were saying wasn't true, when he's on camera explaining that we went to war because of what Israel did. Marco Rubio said we went to war because Israel launched a war against them, and we knew they was going to attack us if Israel attacked them. So that's why we had to go to war. He came back the next day after they asked Trump, hey, Trump, Marco Rubio said you went to war because of this. Nah, it was my idea. It was my decision. I told Israel to do it. I pressured Israel into launching first, and we was going anyway. Marco Rubio had to come back on, lie to the people, lie to the camera, because the man he worked for lies 100 miles an hour. He lies on the fly 100 miles an hour. So that brings us back to the upcoming election. Can he stop this election because we're at war doing that? No, I don't think he can. I do not think he can put the brakes on this upcoming election because the war is not on American soil. I think the war would have to be on American soil for it to have any effect on our election. You know, there has to be some crazy shit going on right here for it to have an effect on our election. Now, heaven forbid there's any embedded sleeper cells over here, that might become activated. We already had the guy out in Texas, of course, with the Property of Allah shirt on and the Israel flag on his back. Not Israel, but Iran flag on the back. And, shot up a nightclub, killed a bunch of folks. So is that an omen? We don't know. I hope that doesn't happen because, that's the kind of stuff that could disrupt an election. And then there's MAGA. What is MAGA gonna say about all of this? What is MAGA gonna say about all of this? Well, I tell you what. I know one person that's pissed, and that's old MTG. Let's hear from her.
Have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for and who is making these decisions. And I don't want to see any more dead and murdered. Our military is filled with some of the greatest people from our country, and God bless their families who are probably losing their minds right now, terrified that their son or daughter or their husband or wife or brother or sister may come home in a flag draped coffin. And then we have the president who, by the way, Megan, this really needs to be said. Donald Trump has said repeatedly on camera and in interviews, he doesn't think he's going to heaven. Well, I want to ask a question, a serious question. What is in his mind? What is his mental state? If he doesn't think he's going to heaven and he is a man towards the end, he's in the fourth quarter, he's towards the end of his life. How does that pan out for the rest of us when we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven? What does that mean his decision making is? He already said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported, the man that denounced what happened in Iraq, the man that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, promised it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it. Tulsi Gabbard promised it. All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for and who is making these decisions.
Well, I tell you what, she did have one interesting point. What is that? MTG love illegals to stay for her constitution company. DI deport every illegal like Cesar Chavez. Okay, that's an interesting thought. That is an interesting thought. Um, she had a good point, though. She did make a good point. He did come on camera and say he doesn't think he's going to heaven. That is a very good point. He came on camera and said he doesn't think he's going to heaven. He says he doesn't believe that he's going to heaven. So, if you don't believe you're going to heaven in your mind, what could we expect from you? Did gas price go up there? They did. They $3.45. I haven't been to the gas station. I'm gonna have to go and look. That's a good point. I'm gonna have to go to the gas station because I don't want to let out my secret. But yeah, I have not been to the gas station lately. I'm gonna have to go and check it out. But that is a very good point. What could be in the mind of a guy who says flat out to America, I don't believe I'm going to heaven? And I don't care what the polls say. Hey, you know what? I think this is going to take its toll. I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think his number of supporters are at, he's always had this 30%. There's this 30% out there that can't seem to let go of the guy. There's this 30% that they're not thinking about anything. They just love the guy. Like that uncle you got, that's the worst bastard you ever met. But you love the uncle. He's your uncle. You love him. That's your family. He ain't worth a damn. You know he ain't worth a damn. He cheated on his wife. He cheated on his wife 1,000 times and ran her away. Treat the kids like shit, But you still love that uncle. That's Uncle such and such. That's this 30% holding on to Donald Trump. That's them folks that said, I don't care what he does to me. I just love him. That's that 30%. He's always going to have them. He's always going to have them. So the thing is, it's the rest of us that's got to take this thing through. So anyway, I'm gonna call it good right there. Let's find out. Let's see what happens over the next few days with this war and see where this war goes. And hope we don't have a whole bunch of more Americans killed on this guy's behalf. That's the biggest problem. I think that's the thing that's going to sink his ship, is Americans are getting killed. See, the one thing even MAGA didn't understand is, hey, we ain't the ones supposed to be getting killed. And now Americans are getting killed. Just like up in Minnesota, like old Mr. Dyson said, we all black now. We all black now. So anyway, I'm going to call it good right there in this here before I get on a soapbox. And I appreciate y'all for hanging out as usual. Let's come back Monday and talk about this some more. Let's see what happens over the next few days. Maybe this will calm down. Maybe all this will go away. and we still got a chance for a happy ending in November, because he's definitely stepping in some stinky stuff. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. And like James say, everybody stay prayed up. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go do some checking. Hey, yeah, Carmen, you have a good night as well. And stay safe. And we'll see y'all Monday. Appreciate you. Take it easy.